Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like my videos, please smash that like button. Please do subscribe. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning today, and no, I'm not going up to my mum's either. No. So guys, today it looks cold. No, it looks quite cold outside actually. I've got my heating on, but I won't put it on for long because it just goes. I managed to top up my electricity and gas yesterday, but it won't last long. It doesn't. I put it on emergency credit, the electric, yesterday while I went out to get some gas and electric. I've got to get in touch with British Gas to come and sort out my meter. It was a pay-as-you-go meter. Then they changed it to a smart meter. Then they said that my smart meter wasn't working, and they changed it to a key meter, and they're supposed to be changing it back to a smart meter, but we'll see. So Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. On this day in 1965, Goldie the eagle caused a media storm when he escaped from his cage at London Zoo. He was on the lam for 12 days and spotted and cheered at various locations around London before being recaptured.
Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good morning, Crystal. The time is 8:23 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Wednesday, the 28th of February.
Alexa, what's the weather outlook for Rochester?
In Rochester, England, it's 6 degrees Celsius with cloudy skies. Today's forecast calls for more of the same, with a high of 11 degrees and a low of 6 degrees.
Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
I fell in love with coffee very late in life. It's like they say, better latte than never.
Alexa, whose birthday is it today? Alexa, whose birthday is it today?
Today's famous birthdays include English mixed martial artist Michael Bisping, American actor, writer and director John Turturro, American actor Robert Sean Leonard, American actor Rudy Mancuso, and Canadian-American architect Frank Gehry.
Good morning, guys. I hope everyone has a lovely day this Wednesday. As usual, I should be just getting on with things by myself. I refuse to give in to bullies. I've refused to give in to toxic people. I've refused to give in to manipulators that are using me for their own benefit for some reason or another. And I'm a woman. I'm not a bodyguard. I'm not somebody's bodyguard. I'm a woman. Sometimes I feel like I'd like someone to look after me. So getting someone cross and angry, it could be protecting them, couldn't it? Well, no one is protecting myself. So today I'm just taking it easy. I think my health problems are due to the fact that a lot of it is since my father passed away on the 25th of August 2021, Derek did, that I kept going up to my mum's and eating crap, and I don't want to do that anymore, and it's difficult when you're on your own. I don't drink, I don't take drugs, and I don't smoke, so it's so easy to go to the fridge, go to the shop, get sweets, get crisps and eat crap. And I do try to stop this bad habits. So I've got a smoothie maker and I'm trying to get fruit and vegetables that I don't like eating and blending them and putting them and using them as smoothies. So I'm trying that. I do like my coffee, so I just have a couple of cups of coffee. And I've got tuna and I've got bread, so we've got food for today. So I'm just gonna go back to the way it was really before my dad passed away, and that's I spent majority of the time at home in my flat, and you know, things were a struggle, things were difficult, but I wasn't being manipulated. Um, what can I say? You know, my mother wasn't actually talking to me, was she? She was shouting at me, yelling at me, making me feel awful. And if someone keeps saying, laughing at you, making fun of you, saying derogatory things, your brain starts to think it. Your brain starts to think you're fucking worthless. It does. Starts to think, oh, well, why do I bother getting up? You know, so let's cut that shit out for a while. My mum has got another relative that goes round there. She's also got a next door neighbour that gets things for her if she needs it. Also, I've got to go out to the dentist next week, which I'm not looking forward to, because that's a great big joke, that is. And if I don't go round to my mum's before I go to the dentist, because I'm sorry, but what my mum does is, my dad used to shout at my mother. He used to shout at her. Jennifer, shut up, he would say. And I'm not like that. It's like my mum wants me to replace my dad. So I'll be sat there quiet, and I'm not nothing like my dad at all. My dad was a 6'2" bloke with grey curly hair, and he was wide, he was big, and you know, people were afraid of my dad. I'm the complete opposite. So how somebody is trying to make out I'm a violent man, I haven't got a clue. I don't understand it. It's blatantly obvious that I'm a woman, but my mum goes up there and she'll do what she used to do to my dad. There's a little table that my mum used to put my mum always gave my dad digestive biscuits on a plate. You know, just plain digestives, and she'd make him his cup of tea, and my dad had god awful teeth, right? Awful. So my mum would buy my dad bags of sweets, and he couldn't bloody chew them because he had no teeth. So he'd often be really ill with gum problems and teeth problems. And my mum would fry my dad a dinner, and he had heart problems, and fried food is bad for your heart. So she'd fry my dad food, everything that was bad for him. I don't know. I seriously don't know, but I'm not, you know, I'm not a kid. My dad wasn't a kid either. So I've got to break free of this shit, right? I've got to break free of it. I'm an adult. Yes, the money is helpful, especially when I need to pay my gas and electric, but is it worth it? Almost dying to go and get that money? No, it's not. It isn't. So I was in the co-op yesterday. I was buying my bits and pieces, and my mum rings whilst I'm in the co-op. And there's this enormous black lady with a hooded coat over her head, dressed like him upstairs. And my mum goes, are you coming up? I went, no. And I explained to my mum about the taxi. I said, I've reported the taxi company, the taxi driver to the company, and I said I've informed the police, and she didn't take a blind bit of notice. And it's serious. It is serious. I think someone is trying to harm me. I'm not. I think my dad died naturally. I'm not saying I don't think my dad didn't die naturally, but sweets and crack weren't doing him any good, and he was buying obscure tablets from eBay. Why was he eating hawthorn tablets? He was taking hawthorn tablets, and there's several people that have suffered complications from buying tablets off of eBay. It's dangerous to get things not off a reputable doctor and buy these tablets off of eBay. I wouldn't buy cocodamol off of eBay. I would go into a pharmacy, I would get them off the doctor, but there's no way I would buy tablets, diet pills or anything off of eBay. You shouldn't self-medicate yourself. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is dangerous. Even if you've got a cold sore on your lips, you put the wrong thing on it, right? Your mouth, you can blow up, get all sorts of complications. You could have allergies that you don't know about. So, I mean, the thought that now doctors are going to leave the majority of things to pharmacies is actually frightening, isn't it? I think a lot of people are going to get sick and ill. I think people are getting sick and ill and they're not being treated properly. I mean, look at the dentistry in the UK. It's absolutely appalling. People are pulling their own teeth out because they can't get an NHS dentist. They're filling their own teeth with temporary filling, right? It's not people's fault. There is no NHS dentistry. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. The cost of living is going up, 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 up. I mean, you buy a newspaper one day, it's gone up again the next. Just a newspaper. And for people that are stuck indoors all day, right, that don't go out, you know, a little trip to the shop would be getting them outside their prison. And the cost of living now is so fucking expensive that people are stuck indoors. They're shivering with cold, buying dangerous heaters because they can't afford to put the full heating on. And rich people don't have to worry about it, do they? They don't have to worry about anything, especially the ones that have got servants that even put toothpaste on their toothbrush for them. There needs to be more care in this world, and there's not. It's selfish, and I think people do care, but in some circumstances they can't do anything about it because they're suffering themselves. We're all going through it, and it all seems to have gone down the pan since COVID. And I think people have lost trust in the government since that, you know, we found out that while our loved ones were dying, the members of the government were holding parties. I mean, it wasn't that long after COVID that my dad passed away, and there was only 3 people at my father's funeral. And I remember when Prince Philip died, the royal family were wearing masks over their face, weren't they, because of COVID. The Queen's send-off was amazing, and she deserved that. She really, really was a great queen. She was. And when the Queen died, this country went right down the proverbial toilet. It did, and it still is going down the pan. There's mob rule outside. You go outside, you take pot luck what happens to you. You do. The streets aren't safe. at all. They're not safe. Day or night, the streets are not safe. You know, I heard a story on TikTok yesterday. I was watching TikTok, and people are working and they're not getting enough to heat their homes and feed their families. That's despicable. People that work for a living and have got no money left to pay their bills or feed their kids, that's absolutely despicable. But this woman said that this kid was shoplifting, a kid. So security had pounced on a kid, a child. Right? I have seen people in that co-op walk out with stuff and nobody challenges them. But a kid with 50p apparently went into a shop and he shoplifted and security nabbed him. So you see what it is all backwards, this country. They don't catch real criminals. They don't stop real crime. They pick on little kids, disabled people and things like that. That's absolutely awful. Nabbing a child because he stole something because he only had 50p in his pocket. What is going on in this country? I know security pick on kids. I know they do. Because they're bullies, aren't they? They don't catch the real thugs. They pick on little tiny kids. Right? And kids under 10, they don't really know what they're doing anyway. So it's absolutely disgusting that they detain children, security. They detain kids. So if a little 8, 9, 9-year-old steals something, security staff will detain that child. Which is terrible, isn't it? And I think the law states that a kid cannot be held responsible if he's under 10 years old. They're under 10. Mind you, the parent probably should have been with the child, but how do you get your child to gain independence if you're always with them? And then what children learn at school has an influence on them. What friends they make has an influence on your child. Sometimes school is a bad influence on some children. They make friends with the wrong type and then they get into trouble. And you've got to be careful when you let your child stay over at another child's house. I mean, I've gone through all that. I've been there, I've done it, and my kids are like adults now, but it is tough for parents. Being a parent is a learning curve, especially when you have a child for the first time, when you've never bathed a baby, you've never put a nappy on, you've never made formula milk. And hospital teaches you that. When you have your first child, the hospital tells you how to top and tail your baby. Well, it did for me. And you know how to make formula milk and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's scary. And you've never had a kid before. It's very, very scary. It's scary giving birth. It's painful. It's one of the most terrible pains a woman will ever have in her life, giving birth to a child. It's awful. It was for me anyway. So yeah, I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. I'll go through the same shit, being laughed at, take the piss out of, laughed at. People think that I'm a violent man and they run away from me with their handbags. And I'm a woman who's had 4 kids. I'm very, very shy when I meet new people, and I don't know where all this bullshit's coming from, but it stems from going up to my mum's all the time. So we're going to nail that on the head. I know it's going to be tough, but it's got to stop. It's got to stop. The feeling that I'm being punished for something I haven't done. My dad's died, right? He lost all his teeth. He was taking all these tablets that probably weren't any good for him, and he was just sat there. And he said to me, I just want to die. I just want to die, he said. His life was shit. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but that's what he said to me. He said, I just want to die. He was with a woman that he didn't want to sleep with. That's the truth. You know, if you believe someone's done something wrong, report them to the police. Don't do your own witch hunt and punish them in your own way. That's against the law in itself. Now I seem to be going through what my dad's went through, aren't I? I seem to be going through what my dad went through, and I've done absolutely nothing wrong. So I'm being blatantly honest. Towards the end of my dad's life, he wasn't sleeping with my mother. He said she didn't change her clothes. She was getting into bed with him. She didn't change her clothes. She was keeping him awake at night, rabbiting. So he put earphones on his head. He was with a woman he didn't want to be with. He had no intimacy with my mother at all for about 20 years. This is what he told me personally, alone, without my mother there. He said that the way she dressed and the way she didn't change her clothes and all that, he just couldn't bear it. And he just wanted to die because he didn't want to sleep with her. He didn't want to be with her. I'm not obviously sticking up for my dad because he was a bad man. He shouldn't have done those things to me. But there's something going on behind the scenes when I was up in Gloucestershire, because I was lured down to Chatham. I was lured down to Kent. And I think I told my mum what my dad did to me when I was 34. And I think I was lured down here. And I was the victim. You don't punish the victim, right? I'm not saying my mother took things into her own hands, right? Because I know I'll sit round there, and what my dad did to me was despicable. You can't call your daughter the other woman. Your daughter, right? I don't want to have anything to do with that anymore, right? My dad literally told me he wanted to die. He didn't want to live like that anymore. Just sat there being fed like a baby. And I'm not having it done to me. Here's your crisps, here's your sweets. You know, I've got bad teeth. I can't chew sweets. Why am I being given hard fucking sweets? Really hard to chew sweets. I've had enough of it, guys. I've had enough of it. I'm not a little baby. See you later.